question here. Rob from Lewes, which I think is in the UK, asks, you and others have talked about the need to stop FGM within a generation. Do you really think you can do it? Kathy?
Well, there's a goal that the UN has set to eliminate it by 2015, which is the date for the Millennium Development Goals. I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't be trying for that. That's far enough away that we could really do a concerted effort. And frankly, it's going to take a global campaign. You know, and we need a global campaign for girls. This ought to be right front and center at the beginning of it. So I think it's doable.
There may be a parallel with China in that foot binding existed for hundreds and hundreds of years, and at various points, I think in the Qianlong emperor, it may have been before Qianlong, but that foot binding was actually punishable by exile on the part of the parents, had zero effect. I mean, at various points it was banned, no impact. And then early in the 20th century, really remarkably quickly, it disappeared. And it went from a perception on the part of parents that if they didn't bind their daughter's feet, that it'd be hard for her to marry, to a perception that if they bound her feet, it'd be harder for her to get married. And I guess the question is...
One emperor changed the rule, changed the perception.
It was really a bottom-up social movement. It led by elites from within the country, part of this sense of awakening, and supported by outsiders to some degree, but really led from within, pushed from within. So I guess the question is how we can replicate that, and whether groups like Tostan are indeed, whether this is the next sort of foot binding analogy, so that the change, once it comes, you reach a tipping point, it happens very, very quickly.
I just want to come back to that point Kathy made at 2015. I wish I shared your optimism, Kathy. I just feel that we're here talking about solutions. We seem to know what works. We know this model is there. We know about the respect we have to give to communities. And many, many local NGOs and civil society organizations are working on the ground. And, to pay tribute to all of those small organizations, really at danger as well. One of the women who's contacted me through this campaign, Lucy Mashua, who said, go forth and speak at Davos about this. And her story, once she started speaking out within her community, she was raped, she was beaten, she was tied to a tree, she was jailed. She's luckily living now in the US. But I think what we need to see is how we can, in the next 5 years, if that is true, take this to scale. I'm using the language of Davos there, but really, what is preventing us? If we know how to make things change, why can't we put this into place? Is it a funding issue? Is it a global awareness issue? What needs to happen? What are the levers that we can pull? If we were sitting here saying, actually, this is too intractable, this is too difficult, we're not going to address this issue, fair enough. But we're all sitting here in vehement agreement that this is a severe human rights abuse, a child rights abuse, a women's rights abuse. We've got a solution. What can we do?